So, what kind of car did you drive up in?
It was a beautiful Nissan Altima, all rusted in 92. And I was like, man, I was giving it. I miss that car.
That's awesome.
And I
It's
spent 2 years running around in Fort Mac with it.
Yeah, it's
Those last.
funny. Like as you get older, you get these cars that I guess are quote unquote nicer. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But you remember those first cars that, like you said, were full of rust, like gave you a problem. But you know what? That was the car.
Yeah, that was the one. And you just try to stick to it as much as you can because you know what? With those Altimas, I will say, you can hit a wall and just back up and keep driving.
Right.
Seriously. Try that with a newer one now.
Yeah. I had a horrible car. So this is a I don't this is a newer passion for you.
Yeah.
So did you take like in high school like woodworking, or did you go to do you have a trade in carpentry? Like how did this all start?
So interestingly enough, I have a what's the best way to put it? I have an interest in just about everything.
Okay, you're a
So
renaissance man.
you got it. So science, mathematics, building, design, art, all of it.
Mhm.
Going to high school, I took all this sciences and mathematics and calculus, art, all that stuff.
Right.
Maybe I should have went to college. I don't know. I never did.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, I took a summer job
Mhm.
as helping my uncle out, who happened to be a mechanic.
Right.
And a little later on, I became a mechanic myself.
Okay.
So by trade, I'm actually an automotive mechanic. I fix cars and all kinds of stuff, right? But
Right.
as you get into, and when you learn about being a mechanic, and as you go through a trade like that, you start to discover that it's more than just nuts and bolts. There's a lot more to it. It's a little bit of carpentry. It's a little bit of plumbing. So it really appealed to the nature I already had.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I always loved to craft and build things and make things and puzzles and designs and so this had been something that had been ongoing for a while for me. And then with unfortunately the advent of COVID coming into everybody's life,
Yeah.
it left me with more time to just be able to. I got to get some of this creative juices out of my head, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
started just making stuff and then eventually we launched the business, right?
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you talk a little bit about where we grew up.
Sure.
So I grew up like yourself here in Fort McMurray, but where in town did you grow up?
Dickensfield.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I grew up on Lee Crescent.
Mm-hmm.
And oddly enough, I still live in Dickensfield now, just one street over. I'm on McLaren. So
Yeah.
yeah, I loved growing up in Dickensfield.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Like I no longer live in Dickensfield. I live in Timberley, and I miss Dickensfield tremendously.
Mm.
Yeah, I grew up on McConaughey Crescent.
Yeah, it
Um,
was just such a small community, obviously in the bigger community, but all of our friends lived there,
mhm.
like everyone we went to school with. So it was just, yeah, it was a great neighborhood to grow up in with the Birchwood Trails right there. And
Yep.
yeah.
How do you find now as an adult living on Dickensfield or in Dickensfield?
Well, I mean, now that the trees are gone, we back onto the green belt, so that part stings. But yeah, I find it very much the same, actually. Very community
Mhm.
minded. We know all of our neighbors, and
Right.
to the point where if we go out of town somewhere, we
Mhm.
know that somebody is looking out for our house. We never have to worry about any of that stuff. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to live in a few different places in Fort McMurray, from Abisan to Thickwood, Timberley, Beacon Hill before the fire was awesome. I loved my Beacon Hill home. But yeah, I feel the older communities in town just have, like, they still have that sense of small Fort McMurray.
And yeah,
Nice. Okay, so let's rewind. How long have you been in the community for?
About 10 years.
10 years now.
Yeah.
Okay. So where did you come from originally?
I'm originally from Winterpeg, man. It's cold out.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's really cold. So it's very similar to Fort McMurray
Yeah.
in the wintry sense.
Yeah, I love Winnipeg.
Yeah, I do too.
I've been there a number of times.
Yeah.
We have some friends that were in Fort McMurray and moved there.
Okay.
So prior to the pandemic, we would go and we would visit them often.
Yeah.
I love Winnipeg. The Forks, amazing.
Yes.
I went to they had this old school toy shop there. amazing.
Yeah.
Like Winnipeg's really nice.
It is really nice. So I have a brother there and sister-in-law and his kids. So that is, people say, they can't wait to go home.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that Winnipeg is home. I say Fort McMurray is home. It's where I am with my son and where I have a circle of great friends and a
Right.
great community.
Yes.
They say, would you ever go back? Yeah, I probably, maybe
Yeah.
go back. But
As of right now.
as of right now, I really like it here
That's right.
and see myself here for a long time.
Well, you just queue 5 questions. I have no idea what he's going to ask, so best of luck.
Question number 1. What is your favorite part of traveling the world playing sports?
God, the people I meet that I'm still friends with. Yeah, definitely the people I meet.
Question number 2. What is your favorite fast food item you've tried in your travels that isn't available in Canada?
I heard this the other day. In New Zealand, you can get a burger and it's got beets in it. Like a hamburger at McDonald's. I can't remember what it's called, but it's so good.
Okay.
Question number 3. What is one thing you've noticed of rugby in Fort McMurray that you haven't noticed in rugby anywhere else?
That's a hard question. I think the willingness to try, because there's not a lot of rugby players up here, but
Right.
we get so many people just wanting to get involved and wanting to make friends and wanting to make connections with people. So we get a lot of new girls and guys out here, which is nice, which is a hard thing to do at our age to start a new sport. So yeah, the willingness to try, I think.
Question number 4. What do you do to celebrate a rugby win?
A boat race?
Oh, boat race. Okay, go into detail. What's a boat race for
Like,
some people at
or
home?
I mean, you do a boat race if you win or lose, I guess. But it's where there's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 people on each team, and each person has a beer, and the first 2 start. And as soon as you're done your beer, you put it on your head, and then the next person goes, and
Yeah.
and then
There's a winner at the end.
there's a
Whoever
winner
can
at
drink
the
faster.
end.
Yeah. There you go. A boat race.
But I drink beer.
Yeah.
And your final question. What is your best memory from rugby off the field?
Off the field. All the tours I've been on, for sure. Like, I'll talk about this all day as the people that I meet, but like getting the lead up to the World Cup, we went on quite a few tours, and just the relationships that I got to create with all those girls are something that I will never forget. Yeah.
Those have been your 5 questions.
I said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.